Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the LFGM podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. Our Metsies, the New York Metropolitans, are on not one, not two, not three. Come on, LeBron James. We're on a 7-game win streak here. Matt, we spoke last week. I said, I don't see how it's getting any better. I said it was rock bottom, and holy shit, did they turn it around. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing way better than last week, and it's almost as if they listened to the podcast.
I was just going to say that. Literally, like, we mentioned 3 or 4 things that we wanted to see these guys do, and they fucking did it. I mean, I'm still a little bit, like, shocked that it happened so quickly. I mean, we sat here, and I told you, we said they need a spark. And the night that we mentioned that, we have fisticuffs in the dugout. It was like the NHL meets MLB. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't really get like a full camera angle on it, but we got a little McNeil and Lindor action, rat versus raccoon. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely something, and it was clear that it was over. McNeil getting in the way of Lindor. He does that, dude, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and because it wasn't the first time, so that's probably what was addressed.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty obvious, and the guys couldn't like S and Y, like they couldn't figure it out. But like, good. We need a spark. We needed a kick in the ass. These guys needed to have some fire lit underneath them, and like, whatever, man. You fight, you move on. You're still teammates at the end of the day. Like me and you have fought before, not like physically, but we've like everybody has their problems or whatever, and you go about it, you figure it out, and you move on, and that's what they did, and they actually ended up coming back and winning that game, and it was the spark that these guys really needed.
Yeah, dude, it was, and that's the thing, like with men, especially if like men in sports, it's like you can fucking get into it, and then it's all good, what I mean? Because like you said what you had to say, I had said what I had to say, and then it's done, and you move on. And that's I feel like anyone who plays sports always has like learned that lesson.
It was
man, say what you got to say, and then it's done.
They got it off their chest. They moved on fast. I mean, Lindor hit the home run, and then he's doing. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but if I see the man bunt one more time, I'm going to lose it. But he did do the sacrifice bunt in that game to move McNeil over. They come back, they win that game. And that's all she wrote, right? We haven't lost since, I don't think. I mean, we're on a 7-game win streak here. We are the hottest team in Major League Baseball. And even though Jacob deGrom heads to the IL, I mean, the train keeps rolling, right? Like there's nothing that's slowing these guys down right now.
Yeah, and the bullpen still continues to be so damn consistent. It's awesome, man. Especially like what we've gone through in the past. It really is a strength of ours. And like even with the hitting, it was good, that they're slowly starting to hit more. But like this kind of has come out of nowhere, like this win streak. But also, like we've squeaked somewhat games out. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, guys, it's time to wake up and hit now. It's the 6th inning. We're down 1-0. We're down 2-0, and they find a way somehow. We're winning games without even getting hits. So maybe a little bit of luck on our side, but it's needed.
Well, we also sat here and we said these guys, they're not hitting home runs right now. The ball's a little bit different. It's a little bit colder right now. It's not 85 degrees in the middle of August, right? Like they got to scratch some runs out. We talked about hitting the ball. Timely hitting, and then we talked about some aggressive base running and having some smart stolen bases. And I mean, today is Wednesday, so this is filmed after the Matt Harvey start for the Baltimore Orioles. And just like as an example, like 2 outs, Lindor's on first base, he steals second base, and then Dom Smith has an RBI single. Like that's a first to third situation 2 weeks ago, and we're not scoring a run. So he you steal the base, you move yourself into scoring position on a stolen base. It's smart, aggressive baseball, and it's what these guys need to do right now to scratch out some runs because the home run ball, you can't rely on it. You just can't.
No, we're honestly, dude, we're not even hitting a lot of home runs still at all. No, we're not. And I'm not worried because, like, obviously that's going to come and it's all good. But the best part is they're not striking out fucking 10 times a game, 15 times a game. Like, okay, they're like starting to figure out situational hitting. So that to me is like the biggest takeaway is like I think it's good that they're not hitting home runs and they're winning games. I
Mhm.
think it's so good because they're just putting the ball in play. And like you saw with this guy
Pat
Mazeka,
Mazika.
this guy, he just puts the ball in play. You
You
see
know,
what
man.
happens, like even at the professional level, like it's still like
So
somehow finds a way.
yeah, we kind of questioned the fact that they're bringing up a third catcher, right? And I mean, on paper, when you look at it, it doesn't make sense. And you look at the guy's swing; he's kind of he's got this like Ichiro style where he's almost like falling over himself, running out of the batter's box. But he doesn't strike out. He's putting the ball in play. He's making things happen. People are moving around him. It's dude. It's a good brand of baseball. It's not sit back and wait for the home run. It's smart. It's aggressive. It's situational hitting. It's moving guys over. It's honestly, it's been the most enjoyable week in the last 5 years. I got some crazy stats for you. Are you ready? This is the latest the Mets have been in first sole possession of first place of the NL East in 5 years. They're
Wow.
15-2 when they score 4 or more runs. You don't need a home run then. You got to scratch
Yeah.
them out, boys.
Yeah. Yep.
They're 11-4 at Citi Field with a 183 starting pitching ERA at
Love
home.
that. Love
Dirty,
that.
dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, those are numbers that, although they're really really good, right? And like, granted, the 183, you can't expect it to be better than that at the end of the year. But these are good trends moving forward. These are good. It's a good sign of a good baseball team.
Dude, like you said, a great brand of baseball to play. I love this. I've been begging for this type of baseball to
Love
be
it.
played. We didn't even play this kind of baseball. And I know it's a week, but that means if they could do it for a week, they can do it then.
Yep.
Because we didn't even have this type in 2015
No
where,
way. There's no
you
way.
know, even hats off to Rojas, like all of these guys are playing. Like he's done a great job in terms of getting every single one of these guys in. Even
So
like he continues to use Mazeka, and he's like the last guy on the bench,
yeah,
and he's going through his whole bench where it's just like usually Nito at the end just for an emergency. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
and
glad you
that's
brought
it.
up. I'm glad you brought up Rojas because last night's game, Stroman's start, I thought was the most beautifully managed game of his tenure. He takes Stroman out. He puts in Loop. He forces Memes out of the game by doing that, right? I mean, John
Yeah,
Memes was on fire. Forces Memes out of the game. They go through two players right there, right? They put the lefty in the pinch hit, then they pull the lefty back. They put the righty in. Okay, they scratched out a run, right? Good for them. But at the end of the day, he got the starting pitcher out. Rojas did by his managerial moves. The bullpen comes in, these guys start hitting the bullpen. So you got to tip your cap. We have been incredibly critical of him in the past, and rightfully so. But he has done nothing. He's been nothing short of I would say perfect this whole week. And I mean, even using the bullpen, right? He's using Castro in good spots. He's putting Familia in good spots. Even today, when you're up 7-0, like my guy Drew Smith comes into the game. So we're seeing guys come up and join the bullpen and be productive, whether it's Sean Reed Foley, Drew Smith, Robert Gazelman, guys that have been optioned and coming back and forth. I mean, even Tommy Hunter had 4 innings of really good baseball, good, 2 innings of starting pitching, 2 innings of relief pitching to keep us in a game. These guys the bullpen has been such a bright spot. And honestly, nobody in their right mind would have said that at the beginning of the year. And Rojas, he's had a really good week.
and I like that you brought up the John Means thing too. Like that was a great move. It was probably the most obvious of his moves though, and probably
Mhm.
the easiest of all of them because it's like a conscious thing. Like, all right, we got to get this guy out. He's going on like 15 innings scoreless or whatever it was, right? And that's probably one of his easier moves, like to consciously get every single guy in and have them, have a role on this team, and then have every bullpen guy with a specific role on the team already. That's impressive. I'll give him that. Like that's very impressive.
It sucks. Obviously, it sucks taking Stroman out of the game, but like, how much more did he have left? I thought at that time you really have to weigh like what's more important to your team. Is it letting Stroman finish the inning, or is it getting the start John Means out of the game? And clearly he made the right decision. And Marcus, obviously, you know, nobody wants a pitcher that wants to come out of the game. He's a competitor. I had a few friends that were texting me. It's like, dude, like this guy, he's got to stop. It's such an act. And honestly, I don't think it is. I think he's just like, he's just kind of like Matt Harvey, right? Like he doesn't want to come out of the game. He's ultra competitive. And yeah, he can be pissed off in the dugout, but you know who's the first one up out of the dugout to congratulate Aaron Loup on getting out of the inning? Marcus Stroman.
Yeah.
So he's pissed off. He showed he was pissed off, but he moved on. He's congratulating his teammates. And guess what? The boys come back and they win the game. Dom Smith coming off the bench in that one was huge. And it's good to get Dom Smith going here. I think he's like, there was a point today where he was like 5 for his last 5, like 5 hits in his last 5 at bats. I mean, the bats are heating up too.
Yeah, and like I'm always like going back to Stroman in that decision. Like I'm always pretty much like in terms of like pro keep the starter in, and I was pretty indifferent on that one too. And I was like, that's I would have been fine if he left them in. I would have been fine if he removed them, which he did, right? The only thing that I wouldn't have been fine with is like if he went out there and Stroman talked them into staying.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you went out there to remove them, then stick by your guns and stand by that because you are a young manager that needs to be like, hey, I am the voice of this team.
But he did. He did put his foot down.
He's not Jacob deGrom, right? He's good, but he's not Jacob deGrom, so you remove him. So, a lot of really, really good moves, a lot of really smart moves. And this bench gives they give me a chubby every time. Oh my God. This bench is the best. I love this bench.
Sorry, VR and Pilar, the Ilars are on fire. And I mean, it was about time Kevin Pilar got hot. He had an awesome spring training, hit the bench, the first week and a half of the season, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. And it showed when he first came in. He was rusty. He was cold. Kevin Pilar's heating up. He had a triple today. Jonathan VR, wild approach at the plate. He's swinging at things, but you know what? The dude puts it in play, and he's a threat on the bases. And you have to. And even I'll give you one more. Jose Peraza, who hasn't been up for a while, but again, putting the ball in play, sound super, super fundamentally solid defensively. He can play second. He can play short. He could probably play third. And puts the ball in play. And again, he's not the fastest on the base path, but there's speed there when you need it to be there. Those guys have been awesome.
So good, man. So good. Almora, too, like so good defensively. I don't expect anything from him at the plate, but that dude can track. And I saw a tweet out there that was like, why not just keep Lagares if you have Almora? I was like, this person's so stupid. I should have commented because I can't. I should have just crushed them because it's like, no, number one, Lagares has lost a step. Almora really hasn't, right? And number two, you could just say the same thing, but in reverse, you fucking idiot. Like, you just be like, hey, we have had Lagares for 5 years. Why not just replace him with someone like Almora, see if that's better? Like, what?
Lagares had his run. He's got that super long swing. It's like, it's good, man. You got your gold glove. Like, you had an unbelievable season out there in center field that year. When he messed up his shoulder along the way, and he kind of lost a lot of oomph behind his throw. But I mean, Almora, dude, him tracking the ball out there in center field, it's unbelievable, man. He gets on his horse. His first step is always right. His first step is so fast, it's always right. He's got great speed. He's got great vision. Dude, he went all out for that catch. That was Aaron Rowan-esque, like face.
Yeah, it reminded me of that big time.
I hope he's all right. I do want to talk a little bit here about, we got quite a few guys that have hit the injured list right now. So we got Almora, Nimmo, JD Davis. Nimmo and Davis should be back soon. deGrom,
Yeah.
So I mean, we got quite a few. What's up with Guillorme? I haven't seen him in a while.
He's hurt too. He's on the with his wrist, I believe. But dude, the best part is this bench is playing so good. We don't have to rush any of these guys back, and it's probably going to be a tough decision
Yeah,
when these guys are ready. Because like I love Nimmo. Um, you saw that Pilar definitely has to get out there a few times
right.
because he's legitimate defensively out there, and he's swinging the stick well. Got to give him some playing time,
Well,
and
so what's
that's the case
interesting
with a few of
here,
these guys.
yeah, what's interesting here, and I don't know if it necessarily applies to the series coming up, but it's something to think about moving forward. We got 3 with Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, and then we got 3 with the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, and then they're off again next Thursday. But 3 in Tampa Bay means it'll be the first time that we get the DH in our lineup this season. So I wouldn't be shocked if Alonso hit DH, and you saw Dom Smith at first base, and then you could get Pilar and Almora in the outfield at the same time. But just as a talking point here, let's say I don't know, it's later in the season. Um, you could potentially, Pete could DH, Dom could play first, and that's another way where you can get Nimmo into a corner outfield and Pilar over there in center field. It's another way to get some of these guys into the lineup who deserve the playing time. Honestly, they've shown nothing but that they deserve the playing time. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Luis Rojas creates the lineups in Tampa, and how they utilize the DH here with these 3 games down in St. Pete.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. And it's like, if there were ever a time for one of these guys to come back, they could just slide in to that DH spot too. But
Sure.
and it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that series for a few reasons. With the Rays, just because Glasnow's pitching against us too. I love watching him. He's become my second favorite, you could say, behind deGrom. Like I even thought today, I was like, should I just drive down to Tampa to watch him pitch
He's
one
so
game?
good. He's so good.
Like it's like that.
When
He's
he when he learns, he's got great stuff. It's unbelievable. But when he learns like what the hitter is thinking and how he can approach that, like I think that's where Jake is like such a step ahead of everybody else. Like he knows exactly what's going through the hitter's mind, and he can kind of work around that and
yeah.
use his tools to his advantage. I think Glasnow kind of goes up there and he's going to overpower you, or he's going to drop a hook on you. The good old Uncle Charlie he's got down there. And he doesn't necessarily, and I think the same way for Noah Syndergaard a little bit too. They don't necessarily like pitch. They kind of do this overpowering thing, but Glasnow's got the stuff to overpower you, and it's unbelievable, man. It's going to be a fun series down in Tampa. I'm excited to see how they use the DH. I'm excited to see how they make their lineups. And I love, honestly, it's such a different brand of baseball down in Tampa. So it's good for like, I enjoy watching it because I learn more about the game and like how these guys view the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's it. They're always fun to watch. Every time they're in the playoffs, I make sure that's the playoff game I watch, and that's for that reason because they always seem to be ahead of everyone, and
Mhm.
they all their guys have a role, and when teams are like that, they're very very tough to beat.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
but even with the Orioles, I didn't think they looked too bad at all.
No, they didn't.
They put the ball in play a decent amount. They even like they dropped down a few bunts, and I was like, yeah, no, they should.
Yes.
They're not hitting well. Like, yeah,
The ex Phillies. It was Freddie Galvis who dropped down that one bunt, which was that was against Trevor May.
yeah,
Dude, there's nothing you can do. 2-out bunt. I mean, the
yeah,
guy's going to do it, and you're giving it to him. Like all credit to him. He laid down a perfect bunt, and the run scored from third. What more can you do?
yeah,
Um, I what was I going to say? Oh, the today Taiwan Walker, man, he shut them down. Like this is a
yeah,
lineup the Orioles that can hit. And they put the ball in play. It's like Stroman didn't, rack up any strikeouts, right? Like it was they were putting the ball in play. They were hitting the ball, a lot of ground balls. He had a few fly balls. But even, I mean, today, Taiwan, when he gets into a groove, and it can take him a little while to get there, when he gets to the third, fourth, fifth inning, I mean, he gets better as he goes. He's kind of like a diesel engine, and the more he pitches, the better he gets.
Yeah, he had the one like shaky. I think it was like the second inning or something where he
Yeah.
walked 2 walks, and it's like, you're always wary of that because good teams and especially teams like playoffs, like they're going to take advantage of that when you put the first 2 guys on. But he's got such nasty stuff, and I just hope that he continues to like get better and better, especially with the control and even pitch to contact if you got to, because you're going to miss plenty of bats
Yep.
doing that still.
Yep. So I mean, he was awesome today. I was really impressed with, that the Cubs game. I think it was the Cubs game where he was chirping at the ump and he had like I think it was 5 or 6 walks and he wasn't happy and he kind of got in his head. And you can tell like that could have happened today. And it's like he took a deep breath, he settled himself down, he got back into it, he got out of the inning, and I think he only had one more walk for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So he's one of those weird pitchers where I think like third time through the order, it's like doesn't matter for him. Like he's getting better as the game goes on.
Oh, he's damn good, man. He's damn good. I mean, so far, like, that is a great, great signing.
I don't love doing this, but I'm going to do a little compare here, a little compare and contrast. We signed Taiwan. I think it was like 2 years, 23 million, something like that, whatever it is. He's got like a 2.25 ERA, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
You know who the other pitcher is out for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Oh, yeah. I
He's got
mean,
like he's got like a 2.5, and they're paying him $45 million this year.
yeah, I know. 2.5 is still pretty good.
Really good. But dude,
But
they're still on the Dodgers. I don't know if you saw that. They're a mess.
yeah, I mean, they have a lot of injuries, though, right?
I think so. I think they're kind of feeling themselves out a little bit too, a little
Yeah.
World Series hangover there. But I mean, it goes to show you, like they started off the season, they were like 15-5. I think since they're like 3-17, something like that. It's
Yeah,
really
they're 19 and 17 right now.
yeah, they're trying to figure it out, and you can tell they're going through the motions a little bit. And I heard one of Bauer's comments after the game was like, not pointing fingers, but like he was like, I came here to win, so no, I'm not happy. It's like, well, you could have came here to win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, they also it sucks like Dustin May, like it.
yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Young guy too. Speaking of young guys getting Tommy John, Matthew Allen.
Yeah, yep, yep. But it's not. We both know that it's not the death sentence that it was even 6, 7 years ago. It's like these guys come back and especially like when an organization values someone like that, they put them on a sweet program with a great, great doctor that probably be throwing the same or harder a year and a half from now.
What'd you think about Harvey?
Dude, so I'm glad we're talking about this because like I was very much, and we both were like, you got to cheer for him when he's there because like I don't like people get, and I think it's like older people too, like, oh, he screwed up, he liked to party. It's like, dude, take a step back, realize his situation, and then try to, trash him like that. And like, I saw him in the uniform, and then I saw like him walk, even before that, walking into the stadium, and I was just so happy for him that he's like he has put it together a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy that they gave him a standing O at the start and then at the end when he got pulled. And like,
when he came up to bat.
Yeah. And that's what it's about, man, because like without that guy, we don't get to the 2015 World Series. We don't. And like
people forget, like 2014 was his Tommy John year. 2015 was his year coming back from Tommy John
right?
injury.
Yeah.
And Scott Boras was like, "Hey man, you should probably do the innings limit, just like Steven Strasburg did." Yep. And you know what Matt Harvey did? He told him to sit on it, and he pitched all the way up into the World Series. So anybody who's got a problem with him needs to come talk to me, because Matt Harvey laid his entire career on the line for Met fans to win a World Series. Did it happen? No. Did he do every single thing in his power to make sure that it could happen? Yes. And if you have a problem with that, there's something wrong with you. Like
I know, I agree, man. I agree.
people
Yeah,
forget.
dude, and like I don't know if you heard him post game, but it was good.
Oh, it
It
was
was
awesome. Yeah.
so good, and he was just like very reflective and like so appreciative of it. And it's like, yeah, man, all of us love you. There's like 2% of us out there
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
are assholes.
Half of that 2% is media members who were pissed off that he would duck interviews and he wouldn't get
Yeah,
interviews. You
yeah,
know,
and yeah,
sure.
he did some wrong things, and he knows that. But like, I mean, in terms of him pitching, I honestly was hoping for like a 1-0, 2-0 win
Same.
today, just because I wanted to see him do well. He got hit around a lot. I don't know how. Like I've seen his other starts before. He didn't pitch inside at all to us, and he
No, I
just kept.
know.
And I was like, and he wasn't giving his fastball enough credit. It's like he's still throwing 93, 94 with
And
some
it's got
movement.
movement too. It's got movement.
Yeah, yeah. I think he just like kept throwing the breaking ball that was like just pretty much sitting on that outside corner, and our guys were just
Something,
going with
something in the scouting report had to say like the Mets struggle with a breaking ball, and they're going to sit on your fastball, and it clearly was the opposite. I mean, we were sitting on I think like in the third or the fourth inning, two or three guys like were swinging at
it.
first
Yeah,
pitch off speed, and they must have kind of figured it out. I don't know if he was tipping pitches or whatnot. I mean,
yeah.
I can never see when they're tipping pitches, and Keith is always like, "Oh, I can see it now."
I know, I know. I can't either.
I can never see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was kind of giving something away a little bit because I mean these guys were all over him. And
Yeah,
the
that's a
first
good
inning,
point. They
first inning
might
he
have
was
just
lights out.
known. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
might have known that's the book on them. But that's
That's
part of
the
the
game, though.
game.
That's
Go
baseball.
back 5 days from now, adjust, and I hope he does very, very well. I really do. I hope he brings that ERA back down into the threes and has a good year.
Yeah, no, same. I wish him like nothing but the best. That dude laid it on the line for us. Um, he and like you said it perfectly. Like you don't get the 2015, you don't get to the World Series without him. You don't make the playoffs without him. Like that team was built on pitching.
Or how about 2014 when we had nothing but him? You know what I mean? And we just like, all right, we
2013.
got one out of every 5 days, 5 games, we have this guy.
Yeah, man.
This is our guy, and this is our day.
It's
This is our day to win.
in
We
a
might
weird way.
stink the next 4 games, but it doesn't matter because this is our day.
In a weird way, it's very Doc Gooden like. Had the like cataclysmic rise and the cataclysmic fall from grace. And like right, when Doc came back and he was bounced around a little bit, he ended up with the Yankees and he threw that no hitter and he won a World Series there, him and Straw. And
Yeah.
it seems like that's kind of where Matt Harvey is in his career. I'm not saying he's going to go out there
Yeah.
and no hitter or the Baltimore Orioles are going to win the World Series. I'm saying he's kind of settled into a role as like a good 4 or 5 starter for them. And like you said, I wish him all the best because that dude laid it absolutely 100% on the line, and I was so happy to hear him after the game say how much it like actually means to him and be reflective like that. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, it's again. I hope it all goes well the rest of the season. I hope he kills it.
Yeah, same. I got one more thing for you. And then the rest is up to you, man. I'm excited. I know you could care less about this, but they're calling up Khalil Lee. And I'm excited to see him. That dude can fly. He's got some pop in his bat. I don't know where he's going to get playing time, honestly. And we said the same thing about Mazika, but he's getting at bats. But they called up Khalil Lee. He's a top prospect in our farm system right now. It's someone who I feel like the fan base doesn't know a lot about, which I think has a lot to do with my excitement. Like, he was not brought up by us. We traded for him, we got him, and now we're going to see what we can get out of him. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think it's another guy that adds some more speed and another dynamic player to this lineup, to the team.
Well, if you got him, you might as well, and he's brought up, you might as well give him some playing time and see. We lost a center fielder, so now throw him out there, especially we got the DH the next couple games, so I'm sure he'll get some playing time. It
I would
just depends on when one of these guys get activated. It'll probably be a very short stint.
Yep, I would think so too. I hope he gets. At least one or two at bats before they send him back down.
Yeah, I think you will.
What do you think they do with their fifth starter right now? I think that's a decent question to bring
Yeah.
up. I mean, we saw Tommy Hunter, as an opener. I thought he was really good. He had some good downward movement with the sinker. He's keeping the ball down in the zone. When the sinker's up in the zone, that's when people are going to rock it. But that sinker was down in the zone. He had some decent velo. I kind of like the idea of going back to that, even if it's like 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah.
And then you can piece it together in the back end of the bullpen, or you can call up Yamamoto. I thought Yamamoto was better than Lucchesi. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Right now, obviously, Stroh is penciled in. This is with deGrom on the IL. You got Stroh, Walker, Peterson. It's kind of like, hit or miss from there, right? Like it was Lucchesi. Is it Lucchesi anymore? I don't know. Hunter was an opener. Castro was an opener. Yamamoto even saw some innings. I think he's back in Syracuse. So I'm interested to see what they do at the back of the rotation right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should give it another shot. Same, like, keep Hunter where he's, let him go. Let him go as an opener, starter, whatever you want to call it. They brought in Yamamoto after that. He did fine, right? He did 2 innings or so, whatever it was. Didn't they bring Lucchesi in at some point during one of these games too, in like the 3rd or 4th inning, or no?
I can't remember. I know
I thought maybe they did, and I thought maybe he did all right for like a couple innings because maybe that's all these guys can do, and that's fine. And we have plenty of pitchers up, so it's like I'm fine with continuing this, right? Not sure how that's going to go a month from now once we get into June. That's going to be tough to try to maintain that, but teams maintain it for one day. I don't love trying to do an opener on days 4 and 5, right? Maybe just the 5th day. I'm cool with that, but we should be getting guys back at that point by the time it gets a little tricky with that, right? With like Noah and Carrasco at some point. I mean, God, would that be like a huge boost if one of those guys can just go 5, 6?
Yeah. They got 6 games this week and then another off day. So they're off tomorrow, 3 with Tampa, 3 with Atlanta, and then they're off again. So it's you got to piece together 6 games here. And then you got another off day, and then they go. Then they go like 2 weeks straight. So it's after that they gotta kind of have things more sharpied in, not penciled in. But yeah, fine. As long as they're the bullpen keeps it up and is able to continue doing what they're doing, it's all good, right? I worry about how the inning usage accumulating over time, but that's not something you can worry about mid-May.
No, you're right. And
I'm looking at the closer. It's weird though when it is you don't have a 4th and a 5th starter. So maybe they do stick with Lucchesi as the 4th, but it's got to be the shortest of short leashes.
You got to think after this 6-game little series here that we have, the little road trip. After that, deGrom should be fine and back. I thought it was weird. The Mets tweeted out his MRI. It's like, all right.
That was fake. That was fake.
Was it? Yeah. I was like, I don't even know. Mets Twitter is so wild these days. Is it not? Is it not?
It's wild. Yeah.
I kind of love it.
This guy Tom, I think his name's Tom Gooden. I'm totally guessing on that.
Mark Gooden.
Mark, is it Mark? Whatever. He's going after New York Mets news. That guy's all the way in LA now, going to Staples Center to watch Knicks Lakers.
Yeah, he's suing Gooden, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah. He unblocked him just to say, "Hey, you bitch, I'm suing you," and he DM'd him at 3 a.m.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. That kid got kicked out of an Angels game you sent me. I'm like,
yeah.
What is going on?
That kid sucks. People hates him too. They're like, this kid sucks. He's the worst.
I'm still trying. You know what? I'm just trying to ease my way in on it because I want him on the podcast. Because
there's no way that bushy eyebrow fuck is hopping on here. There's no way.
Dude, I am trying so hard to get him on here. You have no idea.
He's got to have the IQ of like a dead ant. Like he is the dumbest of dumb. Like how could you even possibly have a conversation with him?
Oh, I listen. If I get him on, you can just sit there. I will.
I'm
I
gonna
will
let
like do a Bryant Gumbel. I'll have a whole bunch of questions to ask him. To make, I just want to make his head spin.
Give me Mark on. I want Mark on.
Yeah, Mark's good. He's a good follow though.
Yeah, but that picture was fake. He's very sarcastic on Twitter. You got to be careful with him.
Oh, so that was him that posted that. All right, all right. Yeah, I was like, oh, what, dude? I was like, I believe you guys. I don't need to see his lat.
Yeah, there's no way Jake would ever sign off on something like that either.
No, yeah, because everyone else fell for it too in the comments. They're like, "Isn't that a HIPAA
so
violation?" I'm like, "This is the mud, man. The Mets fans just like get dirty in the mud."
HIPAA violation.
I was like, I was so thrown back by this. I was like, "Is this just like derail the season again?"
I still can't believe they won 7 in a row. Like, think about how miserable we were last week, and now like how giggly and happy we are right now. It's unbelievable.
I know. All it takes is a couple of wins.
We got 6 games on the road this week. 4-2. Are you happy? 3-3. Are you happy? What's your expectations?
Yeah, we got the Rays and then Atlanta. You said right?
Yeah, and Atlanta got some bad news today. I don't know if you saw it. Soroka had a huge setback with the Achilles.
That sucks, dude. That sucks because that
Really.
guy's a beast, and that's a bad injury to have as an
That
athlete.
happened against us, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then the Tim Hudson.
Covering first, right?
The Tim Hudson, it was like the same thing. Remember?
Oh,
Tim
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Achilles freaked me out, man. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. You just see it like pop and jiggle. Not great.
Yeah. No. No thanks. Like Kevin Durant when Kobe did his and then shot the free throws.
Yeah.
Gross. Disgusting.
Yeah. No, I think I think Tampa's, we're playing good teams though. I don't care what like Atlanta's record is or Tampa Bay's for that matter. Like they're not gonna make a ton of mistakes. Atlanta's been struggling, but
Atlanta's 17-18. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Tampa is 19-18, 6-4 in their last 10. I mean, these are teams that are playing 500 baseball. I know Tampa was hot early, then struggled, so now it seems like they're back to the like 500 ways. Atlanta was hot early. I can think kind of similar stories with both of these teams. Honestly, they're hot early, have slowed down a little bit. The pitching hasn't been great. The back end of their bullpen is brutal right now.
Well, they signed what's his name, Shane Green.
Did they really?
The Braves did, yeah. So it's like, dude, you should have done that a month ago. Yeah. It was really good for you.
You know who we're going to see this weekend?
Who's that?
Tampa Bay reliever who's having an awesome start to the season.
I don't know who this is.
Worthy, I would say you're not going to get saves out of him, but it could be worthy of a fantasy baseball acquisition at this point. Hunter Strickland.
No way, he's with them?
Yeah, man. Tampa just regurgitates these guys, and they have like Aaron Loop last year. Like they have unbelievable years down there out of the bullpen. I guess it goes back to like guys knowing their role and like really kind of falling into line there too.
Yeah, they're good with pitchers because they'll just be like, they'll take these guys and be like, all right, listen, man, you throw fastball changeup and a slider. Your changeup stinks. You're just not going to throw it anymore. We'll do fastball slider. That's it. And they listen.
And it's like, well, hey, guy, all you got to do is get 3 outs.
Yeah.
You don't have to strike them. I don't care how you get them. Get the 3 outs. They're good, man. They're good. They'll be. Hunter Strickland. I think of him with his 10 days with the Mets, and the Bryce Harper thing with him. That's all. That's what I think about.
Yeah. No, that's still all I think about is that.
Yep.
Hitting him in that fight.
All right, bro. You got anything else?
No. I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, man. It's been a wild week, but 7 wins. Hell, yeah, feels good. I would love to see them go 4-2 on this road trip and come back. If they come back 4-2, I'd be happy. You go 4-2 on the road, you come back home, you keep playing like you are at home. Like that's good baseball. So
Yeah,
and win both of the series. Go 2-1, 2-1. Right. So
easy enough.
all right, man. That's all I got. Let's put this one in the books.